Our project is on food science, and here is a menu of everything that we will be talking about. What is food science? Food science is the study of physical, biological, and chemical makeup of food. Food scientists, such as biologists, chemical engineers, and biochemists, better understand food processes and improve food products for the general public. Why does food science matter? The biggest problem that the overgrowing population and scientists face now is abundance and availability. Scientists have been trying to create food that is more sustainable, nutritious, and appealing to both taste and appearance. An example of why food science is important is the making of special foods, such as those for diabetics, newborns, and even people who struggle with swallowing water. Food science has also helped with our food evolution, bringing us better packaging, frozen foods, canned foods, and shout out to lazy college students, microwaved meals. Lastly, food science has also given us mayonnaise. Mayonnaise contains oil and water which don't normally mix, but under certain circumstances they do. This certain circumstance involves an emulsifier, which is attracted to both oil and water, which is what prevents the mixture from separating. In mayonnaise, this emulsifier is the egg yolk. Egg yolks contain the phospholipid lecithin, which contains a polar end that is attracted to water and a non-polar end that is attracted to oil.
Which scientists plays a part in food science and what do they do? What is the role of a biochemist? Their primary duty is to retain taste, nutrients, and smell in our food as it loses oxidative enzymes when being processed and preserved. What is the role of a biotechnologist? With the population increasing, biotechnologist is key in agriculture, specifically developing and producing more healthier crops. This is done by gene modification. What is the role of a chemist? Chemists can manipulate food to improve, replicate, create new flavors and scents. They can also replace or reformulate a food containing allergens with different alternatives that are safe and suitable for consumers. And they examine food components such as fats, carbs, starches, and proteins to determine how that affects the food and additives. On the next slide, Melba will be introducing an important chemist in food science.
In 1912, French chemist Louis-Camille Maillard described how sugars and amino acids will combine to create aromatic compounds that also pack a lot of flavor.
What is the role of a microbiologist? To ensure our food is safe to consume by determining how our food is contaminated and how to prevent this, the pathogenicity, how microbial activity and growth spoils our food and how to control this, and how to stabilize fermentative properties. Rishi will be introducing a microbiologist that plays a part in food science on the next slide.
A famous microbiologist and chemist is Louis Pasteur. He is known for his developments in vaccines, microbial fermentation, and pasteurization. He found a way to heat beer and wine at just the right temperature to kill a bacteria in order to prevent his alcohol from spoiling quickly. Here in the States, we use a specific type of pasteurization called high-temperature short time, which heats the milk to 161 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 15 seconds and then rapidly cooled down.
What is the role of an engineer? Food engineers protect and regulate the public's health by managing the quality, processing, and packaging of food in the supply chain, designing and handling the machines, type of equipment, and storage system when transporting, and ensure that our stores are stocked with safe, nutritious arrays of different types of food, such as canned, boxed, and bagged food. How has food science evolved and its contributions? Throughout the years, we have discovered ways to minimize microbial growth by the following examples on the board. These examples all contributed for a longer shelf life and most importantly a safer way to ensure our food is harmless to consume.
Brownies, a chocolatey delicious treat. Here are the main ingredients for a brownie recipe from scratch. The whisking of the eggs is usually made to denature the protein that lays within the egg. Whenever a protein is denatured, these bonds are broken and the amino acid bonds unravel. To include, butter used after as a generic designation for fats may also play a role in raising brownie dough. Creaming butter with sugar may create a tiny air spaces around the sugar crystals which swell in oven heat. Egg whites into batter produces lifting. Egg whites even lightly whisked have a viscosity that can increase the air bubbles in dough. In addition to lightening texture, sugar contributes to crust formation because of the caramelization that causes the surface of the brownie to become brown. Both the high percentage of fat and the large amount of sugar present in the typical brownie recipe mandates an oven to be at 325 Fahrenheit or below. In the brownies, eggs are the leavening agent because as batter cooks, air pockets inflate and help create that light texture characteristic of cake-like brownies. The Maillard reaction is a chemical reaction that occurs between the amino acids and sugars in our food when there is heat, producing a multitude of flavors, smells, and colors.
One may ask, how does food science relate to digestion? Well, food science studies the chemical buildup of food, while digestion is a process of breaking down food into small particles for our body to absorb and use for energy, development, and cell repair. What are the reactions involved in digestion? There are two important reactions that initiate the digestive process: chemical digestion and mechanical digestion. How does mechanical digestion relate to chemistry? Mechanical digestion begins with the chewing of food. It involves physically breaking down food substances into smaller molecules, and as a result, a decomposition reaction takes place. After this reaction completes, it increases the permeability of saliva, which reacts with each food particle, thus activating the process of chemical digestion. How does chemical digestion relate to chemistry? When saliva and food particles combine, a second reaction known as hydrolysis takes place. This reaction involves the additional splitting of the remaining food bonds by adding water, but in this case, saliva. Our saliva contains an enzyme called amylase, which immediately breaks down complex sugars. Enzymes not only break the chemical bonds that hold food particles together, but they also act as a catalyst. A catalyst, by definition, speeds up a chemical reaction by lowering the amount of energy required for that reaction. Once the hydrolysis reaction completes, food is swallowed. However, chemical digestion does not end with enzymes in our mouth. It continues inside the stomach until food particles are converted into macronutrients.